Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live. Had a blip. Had a blip in our blip. What is happening, everybody? Who's here? And we got Patrick Kingrey, Sam and Sam, Lane Graves, Patrick Fahey. What is going on, guys? Robert Murray from Tennessee. Chris Bettinger. Stacks Mission. Man, oh man. What a great crew of guys. Ted McSteve. Scott Choate. What's going on, Scott? Jim Saban. Oh, yeah. Oh, are you serious? You going to lacrosse? Well, we got the guy that was just there for you, pal. I need, oh, yeah, well, we're TP. We're going to fix you up for sure. You can't suck at frog fishing. We're going to fix you right up. Michael Bradley, Conway, Ronald Canar, Joseph Cascarino. What is going on, everybody? Mark. Robert Mills, David Schottlemeyer, howdy, howdy, Mike Hayer, Keith Howard, how are you, buddy? Man, oh man, we got a great show for you tonight. We have a special guest on tonight. We are so happy to have him. We have Alex Davis. How lucky are we to get him after his great finish up in lacrosse? But just a great guy, great fisherman, great guy overall. One of our best pros that we get here in the shop. He's been here several times, and we just love him to death. Very, very, very knowledgeable fisherman. Spends 150 plus days a year on the water at Guntersville guiding. So we're going to pick his brain about frog fishing, and I mean Guntersville and frogs. I mean I think that's where frogs came from, honestly. So we're going to check that out with him, and we're going to bring him on here shortly. What a great, great guy to have. Thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. Now, let me tell you, we got a week away from one of the greatest kayak tournaments ever. The Susquehanna River Classic is coming on very strong here. We are filling up. We're getting several a day now. So, listen, if you guys are on the fence and you don't want to miss out, you better sign up right now. I'm telling you, we're cracking 100 right now, and at the rate we're going, we're going to fill up very, very quickly, probably by the end of the week. And I need everybody that wants to fish. Don't sit on the sidelines because you're going to miss out. We're taking 150. What we're doing. Sorry. So make sure you get in. Make sure you sign up. This is a great tournament. This is a tournament that George and I love to do. It's a tournament where the entry fee gets you a $100 rod. It's a $150 entry fee. You get a $100 rod, and you will be able to, hey, everybody's a winner, man. Everybody wins that rod no matter what. Then they're not going to take a rod away from you. So you win that rod, and it's just a great way to get involved with kayak tournament fishing. We're doing this to get new people involved, more people involved, and we want to see and feel what you guys are doing out there in the water, and we're excited for it. We're fired up about it. Friday night registration party by our friends at New Holland Auto Group. We're going to have a great party here. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some whatever. We're just going to hang out. We're going to talk fishing, and then we're going to answer at 6 o'clock. We're going to have the captain's meeting, answer all the questions, get everybody fired up on that. Get your boards measured, and get your identification cards there at that time. So hang out with us on Friday. I swear you're going to have a great time there. We're going to give away some door prizes. It's going to be a fun time, so you don't want to miss that. And then Saturday is the tournament, and we're going to fish all day, and then we're going to come back to the shop here, and we're going to have a great awards presentation here at the store. So that is something you definitely want to do. So get involved. Sign up. Let's do it, and let's get that thing filled up here so we can have that big payout. $18,000 in cash and prizes, or in cash, actually over $18,000 we're paying out. $10,000 for first, Everybody gets a rod courtesy of 13 Fishing. They partnered with us this year, and they are a great sponsor for this event, and we're so excited to have them. They're making some great rods, and you're getting an Oath fishing rod for each entry. Great stuff. Fired up. So make sure you guys sign up for that. Nick, what'd you do over the weekend?
Oh man, it's been a heck of a weekend. I didn't fish much this weekend, but my dad and kid went out. They had a tournament. They got second. They got lunker with almost a 6-pounder.
Golly.
Can't beat that. At the local lake, and
that's awesome.
It's been great. So a lot of soccer tournaments. All about that.
Oh yeah.
That was me this weekend.
Absolutely.
So this weekend coming up is a fishing weekend.
Oh, cool.
That's what it is.
We did our Bubba Scale tournament this weekend. This past weekend up on the river. We had a bunch of our guys got together, threw $100 in a hat. It was a good time. It was tough fishing as always. But we caught some fish. Got the frog out. I started frogging. I was catching fish on frogs. I was losing fish on frogs. I was getting blow ups. And George and we had a ball, man. So it was a fun time. All right. Well, let's get this show rolling here. Without further ado, let's bring on our special guest, Alex Davis. Alex is MLF pro and fishes the Invitational series, George?
Tackle Warehouse Invitationals.
Tackle Warehouse Invitationals. Excellent fisherman, a guide on Lake Guntersville for many, many, many years. I think he started guiding when he was 20 years old, but just a phenomenal fisherman. And we're going to pick his brain, and we're going to talk to him about fishing, and we're going to talk to him, of course, about frogging. So here we go. Mr. Alex Davis, how are you doing, buddy?
What's happening? Just got done eating supper.
Perfect timing.
That is perfect timing, for sure.
Good to have you on board, Alex. Good to see you again, buddy. It's been
good seeing you again. Horns down.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I just paid off that last wager from the championship. I finally got the big dude that I owed the money to finally cornered me in the alley. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, what's going on, man? What are you doing? You finally finished up a season, I guess.
Season just ended. I did real good last weekend as a championship. I drove home Monday. It was like 17 hours, drove 17 hours straight, and I fished the last 3 days. So I'm actually going to finally turn on the TV and watch Thursday night football tonight, and then kind of go hoof after like the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Decompress a little.
Yeah, nothing like decompressing while you scream at a TV because you got fantasy football players going tonight.
Man, I tell you, you don't stop, man. That's the great thing about you. And I was telling everybody that, you've been here a few times. We got to know you real well. We've had just a great time spending time with you. And, but there's always competition in your blood, man. You're like a competition master. That's all you want to do is compete in something. So
no, flip quarters. I'm down.
I know.
Try to beat somebody at something. The thing I don't like about your coming to the store, me coming to your store, is I spend too much money every time.
I love it, man. I love it. You're here for 3 days, man, and the basket just keeps getting fuller and fuller and fuller, and the whole time you're saying, I don't know why I'm buying this stuff. I don't know why I'm buying this stuff.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you on the show tonight. It was that championship snuck up on us here. Now we're big fans, and we try to watch every minute of live that there is from any league.
For sure.
And one thing was going on, this was going on, that was going on, and I called the boys up on my way to work, and I'm like, get the computer hooked up. Alex is leading after day one with a monster 18.5 bag or something of that nature. Didn't watch any of day one. Like I said, it snuck up on us. And the first thing I said was, I'll guarantee you he's frogging.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't realize you guys had such a violent front, and kind of changed things up a little bit, didn't it?
Well, see, I don't know if the front really affected them as much as what it kind of looked to be, but to me, what affected it the most, which they talked about a lot on live, was the water dropped. I think from the last day of practice to our first day of tournament, it dropped like 5 inches. Then it dropped another 4 inches. And from the second day to the third day, dropped 9 inches overnight.
Wow.
Like
that's almost a kiss of death.
Well, it's a lot when you're fishing in 2 foot.
Yeah.
So is all during practice, like I'd call my buddy Keith because he was in the tournament as well, so we can talk. And I was like, it's just crazy that I'm trolling around staring at the bottom all day long. Like I never ever fished where I couldn't just look down and be like, oh, look at the bottom. So that area, actually one of the areas I was getting into during practice, I trolled in with the troll motor down, which I have a 52-inch shaft. So I have the troll motor up, obviously. It's not all the way down, but I trolled in no problem. The first day of the tournament, I trolled in there. I was like, ooh, that's a little sketchy. The second day, I had to lift the trolling motor up to get in. And the third day, I got stuck going in. So I knew like it wasn't the greatest conditions to have like the slugfest that I think could have happened on the frog. And obviously, the first 2 days I did real well. I was leading after day 2, and day 3 I faltered, but it wasn't all captured on live. I mean, it was on there, but they showed it all. But in the last hour, I weighed in 3 that weighed like 8.5. And in the last hour, I had 5 bites that if just 2 of those get it, I win. Like it's not we're having the discussion of how you won. And that's frog fishing. I've done it enough here to know that you don't catch them all, but it's really disheartening. Like, especially at the Mississippi River, it's the only place I've ever seen when they hit it once, they generally, if you've frog fished a lot and you don't jerk it away from them and get all trigger happy, if they hit it once, they're going to keep hitting it until they get it. Like they're the only ones I've ever seen that I've never seen them do that, what they did on day 3. Like day 3 was one violent explosion and they never touch it and they would never come back. Like I'd throw 10 or 12 times back in the same spot and they just never would even, like they would never hump on the water or try to pop it up. They never did anything. So it was that's, as I said, that's fishing. I was still really, really happy to come away with the top 10 in the championship because it's against some of the best anglers. I know a lot of the invitational anglers, a lot of people don't know who they are. And I tell people, you might not know who they are now, but you're going to know who they are. It's some of the best fishermen.
Well, oh, sure. Absolutely. For sure. That's some stiff competition.
Yeah. And if you just look at the top 10 from just this tournament, you have one of the anglers that made the top 10 won on lacrosse 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, Steve Lopez, the actual winner, he come in second the last time there.
Yeah, you had Steve Lopez who finished second, who probably should have won that tournament, and then you had, and I don't remember his name, but you had another angler who actually won a championship tournament there in 21.
Yep, Jimmy Washam, he won.
Washam.
Bank Shaw come in third, and if you've paid attention to bass fishing at all in the last 12 months, Bank Shaw's name is mentioned about as much as Jacob Wheeler's name.
Yeah,
he's on a roll. He is.
That's a roll that it doesn't look like it can be stopped. And then another angler in the top 10, maybe people haven't heard of him, Chris Lane. Bassmaster. It's a stacked field over there. It's some of the best anglers I've ever fished against.
Yeah.
It was a really good top 10 field. I mean, super stout. We were fishing ourselves, but we had to play it in the boat so we could keep up with it. And it was really exciting. Very, very good finish.
And congratulations, man. That's exactly what it is. It's a huge, gigantic finish, and it was just it's cool that you were able to, to just fish it, to be able and be in that position. That is such a cool deal. And plus you're our buddy, so we were rooting for you big time. So,
well, if you look at that river, that river gets a ton of press. It gets a ton of live. I mean, we all want to go fish it. We never have. But out of all those fish that you catch, the majority of them are 3 pounds or under. There are kickers. You had what was your big fish on day one?
I had a 5.9, I believe.
Good
Which
God.
is a what on Gunnersville? That's the equivalent of a 9.
That's about a 9-pounder, I would say. That's about. I'm not going to say they max out at 5.5 at the Mississippi River because you hear someone 6, but no, a 5.5 that's like catching a 9-pounder here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember many years ago fishing a big tournament on the Mississippi River, and I blanked on day one, and my first fish on day 2 was 6'4". My observer was a local guide, and he said, "Well, we don't have 6-pounders in this river." And I held him up, and I said, "You got one. You got one." But my point is, you weighed in a total of 41.14. Let's just call it 42 pounds on a river that 3-pounders are really good. So, I mean, you were right there. If any one of those day 3 bigger frog bites actually eats the frog and gets in the boat, which is, 2 of the tough things in frog fishing, I mean, you're right there. You were right there.
Yeah. And getting them in the boat, it's more once you have the right equipment and you have frog fished a bunch, I don't consider getting them in the boat the hard part. Like, to me, it's, getting one to bite and making sure you get a good hook set. And that's all about timing on like when to set the hook. But as long as your equipment's good, I never fret. Like, once I hook one, I know he's coming in the boat. Like, I don't have that fear of like, I'm not going to be able to get him out. And that's just equipment. But once you have the right stuff, it's like any other technique. Once you have the right rod and reel for it, once I hook one, I never think, oh, he's going to come off. Because I pretty much from the time I set the hook, I never let him go down. He's going to ski all the way in.
Right.
Yeah. Well, of course. And that's a great tip. Now, I did have a few questions for you, Nick and cameraman Nick, who you can't see, he's off camera. And Mike and I, we sort of almost wanted to turn this into a little bit of a frogging show because we have you on here, and over the years of, you being here to the store for our events, we've talked enough to know that you pretty much are dialed in your frogging game.
Where he lives too.
And we're frogging a lot. Mike and I fished a massive tournament on Sunday. It was huge, and there was 9 boats in it, and
one on Sunday?
This past Sunday.
Yeah, did you lose a fish, I heard? Maybe?
No, Mike did. I wasn't frogging. I put that in Mike's hands, and he pretty much screwed the whole tournament for us. But
I lost one of them 9-pounders, those giant, humongous.
He lost like a 4-pounder in a place where they have like 3-pounders.
Yeah,
so
the blow up was 9.5 pounds, and
But we talked frogging the other week. We were talking about some stuff that we like to do, because here's what I'm trying to frame up here. I got to slow down, catch my breath.
You're all jacked up.
I know.
Man.
I'm
What the
fired
hell,
up.
What the hell's going on here?
I am fired
Jeez.
up. Okay. Let's just calm down, everybody. But
take a deep breath.
Like in our world, we tend to make some modifications at the end of the year to our frogs that we don't do early in the year. Because, we're dealing with a bunch of cheese mats right now. And I said, well, you know what? It's seasonal timing at its best that we have you on, because we're in the middle of our peak beginning of fall frog bite right now. So if you could, and I don't know how much you want to give up in the vault, but if you could give us a few tips and tricks on the actual frog mods, and then I got a couple questions follow up.
Well, if I can, I don't know where my old lady's at. If I can get my old lady, she can go get I have a whole box of frogs in the back seat of my truck because I have a trip tomorrow and I'm going in that guy's boat. I don't know where she's at. But let me go run. I'll be back in
get that. Go get that. We'll filibuster.
We'll filibuster.
Well, that's it. He's going to get his frog box.
Yeah. That's the juice.
Now we're going to see.
That's the juice right there.
That's what gets George all pumped up.
Now we're going to see
frogs.
We're going to see the box.
I do got a question for you while he's looking for what
The
he's
qu-
looking
it's,
for.
it's it's we should do a segment. What's inside the box? You know what I mean?
So George, you're basically 100 for 100 with the frogs. What the heck are you doing letting Mike throw the frog?
Well, we weren't prepared for frogging on Sunday.
Yeah.
Frogging was an afterthought,
Okay.
and luckily we had a frog.
One
One.
in the whole boat.
One frog.
It was laying on the floor.
Laying on the floor. We found
and
it. We found it.
it was an afterthought because we had a different game plan.
We had a smallmouth.
And I
plan.
will say Mike did a fine job of frogging, but I think I'm hoping we're going to learn something here because I think we should have modified this frog
I think so.
a little more than we did.
I think so. We had a lot of blow ups.
Alex is back with the box of frogs.
Look at that box of frogs.
I like that.
Holy hell.
This is a deep one. This isn't your normal one. This is
No,
I
that's,
like
that.
that.
I can
That's-
see
That's
that.
how we roll, but
Oh
ours is
my
not nearly
God.
that full.
Look-
That's nice.
Look at that thing.
That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Geez, what color do you like?
So I keep it simple. We'll go over all of it. I'll spill some beans here. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
let's get in. Let's get into the juice here.
Okay, so
Looks like everything is black.
I keep it. Yeah, that's a good one. I keep it real simple on colors. So I throw this one. So that's like the natural red.
Yep.
Swamp Lord has, they have their brown one, whatever they want to call it. So it's just, natural red color, a black of any kind. And I don't really think like I got this one, and then I got the one that has black and yellow. And this one's a favorite of mine here. It's called Tweety. That's yellow and black. And it's just kind of been one that's been real popular in Gunnersville in years past. And then one with a white belly. So if I'm frog fishing in mats, I'm going to use a black one or that brown one of those two. And then if I get anywhere where they're kind of more feeding on shad, where I feel like they actually need to see something, whitish, I'll go with a white belly one. That's the only three colors I own. I don't try to change it up. Like if I'm mat fishing, I just have two rods, one with a red one with a black one. And I don't know how much it matters. I think more of it's all, in your head, confidence. If they start biting the brown one, I just throw the brown one. I don't think, let me change colors throughout the day. I try to not think fish are that smart. I feel like you just need to get around them. Once you're around them, they're going to bite. Some things I do, like you can see the legs on a Swamp Lord factory is that long.
Yeah.
There's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cut about half of the legs off. And the reason being, like, especially at Mississippi River, that's the strangest fish that I've ever seen that they'll blow up on it. And the main thing is when one bites it, I don't set the hook. Like when he blows up on it, I want to feel to see if he's got it. Unless, like, sometimes you can just visually tell when he blows up, he got it. You can jack him. But sometimes you don't really know. So I'll just kind of hold tight and you'll actually feel him pull. But when you set the hook, you don't ever feel the fish. And that's when he actually got up and got the legs of it.
Right. Right.
If I ever have that happen, I do this. I call that the nunchucks.
I like that.
That's just a jig rattle. That comes with the collar, and it's all that is a jig rattle. So when you do that, I just feel like when they're short striking it, I'm eliminating the legs on it. So now the profile is just that. He's only really seeing the body of the frog. He's not getting a look at these legs. And these legs, I don't know if you can hear it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
there's rattles in there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think
So follow-up question on that. Is that primarily more of a late season modification?
to me,
Or you find yourself going to that early?
to me, it's when they're pressured. When they either weather change messes with them to where they're not really wanting to eat it real good, or the fishing pressure in your area has got to where they're being a little standoffish. If you find fresh ones that haven't been messed with, you can't get it away from one. He's not going to miss it. They're going to clobber it. But once more people start frog fishing, or if you're in a popular area, I think they get pressured where you got to really cut his legs down or put the rattles in there, just to be something different, just to not have the same thing that everybody in front of you or around you is throwing.
This time of year, we get all that cheese, that real thick cheese on top. Is this a time where like, because I missed a bunch of fish over the weekend, and they were blowing up on it and never got it. Is that just the cause of fishing in the heavy cheese like that, or is that just maybe I should have cut my legs short or did something different?
So one thing I believe is when they're blowing up and not miss it, you need to go slower. Because what's happening is they're seeing your frog. So if you're working it quick and too fast, in my opinion, they're blowing up on it. But you got to think, if you're moving your frog, he sees it, he's fixing a rocket launch on it. If he's coming to get it and you twitch it, he's missing it. And that's why I'll fish in practice. I'll fish really fast. Like if anyone ever sees me in practice, they're probably thinking, man, he is covered here like a lot of water. And my thing is, I'm just looking for bites. If I get like the place I found at the Mississippi River, I pull in there, I fished for 100 yards, never had a bite. I make a cast, one blows up on it. When I get a bite, I kind of slow up real quick. And I threw like 10 foot to the right of it. I twitched it one time, one blows up on it. I fired like 50 foot to the right of that. I twitched it 2 times, one blows up on it, and then I just kept trolling. I thought, right here.
Yeah.
So once I know I'm around them for like a tournament situation, I really slow down. Like I power pulled down and I threw every foot all the way in the boat. I mean, like when you'll see frog lines from aerial shots, and like usually when I see people's, frog tracks, it's like every 10 foot they threw. And to me, you are missing a lot, because if you don't come right over top of him, he's not going to bite it. They don't come from 10 foot to get it.
Really?
In that cheese.
In the cheese. Open water, obviously you've seen like spook and stuff. They'll come, actually see him come shark it. But in that cheese, if it's not, my opinion, if it's not directly over his head, he's not coming to get it. So I'll throw every foot. Like when I get done, it's like, oh wow, how many times did you throw? But I just don't want to miss one. My biggest fear is in a tournament is to pull into an area, fish it too fast, leave, and someone behind me come in and be like, oh man, I stroked him right there. And it's like, oh, well, way to go, Alex, you fished too fast.
Well, I also noticed that every day of the tournament, you fished, other than the dropping water, which blew you out of an area, you went back and fished those areas. They were obviously holding a good number of fish. They may have even reloaded a little bit, maybe not on the third day because of how much it dropped, but I noticed you went back and you got your bites. Like day 2, you went back and fished 2 of your areas and you got your bites. A lot of times that's kind of like a no-no, but I guess on that river there's so many fish because it's the same thing where we're at. We rework an area because there's so many fish on the Susquehanna. We come in, we catch fish, we come back, rework. You can see the same frog lines. You get bit again.
Yeah, so to me, in places that have concentrations of fish, groups of fish, where they actually group up, that's when I'm going to really work an area over, because there's a reason they're there. Like if you're just going down the bank and you're just frog fishing down the bank, throwing at random logs and maybe docks and skipping around stuff like that, like to me, you don't need to go back to those places. You fished it once. If one's there, he's going to bite it. If not, you don't need to come back and rework a tree again. But when you're talking grass, thick mats, cheese mats, those fish group up and they're there for a reason. You can't see with your visual eyes because all you're looking at is grass, but there is something underneath the water. Either that's stumps, that's maybe a rock pile, maybe it's a really nice, like at the Mississippi River, it's a really sandy bottom underneath. You don't know it until you kind of like troll through it and you look, and you'll look and see that, oh, it's just straight sand underneath of me. Like there's nothing. It's beautiful, crystal clear sand. And that's why those fish are there. And I learned in practice that I would fish for hundreds hundreds and hundreds of yards and never have a bite. And then all of a sudden you get one, and then you throw next to him and you get one. You throw next to him and you get one. So it told me that those fish was really concentrating in certain areas. And that's why I went back. Like, I think day 2, I'd already fished that place in the morning, went back in the afternoon, and I caught a 4.5 and like 4 others that was 2 3/4 to 3 pounds. And I'd already fished it in the morning and had 2 bites that just frogs coming, and it would go boop, and the frog would like just literally come out of the water 2 inches and settle back down. He never would get it. And I told the camera guy, I said, I'll be back. I mean, they're gonna bite here. It's not the right time, but they're gonna bite. We come back in the afternoon. I put a clinic on. So those fish, for a reason, as long as there's a mat over top of them, there's something underneath the water that they're going. So that's why I really kind of zone in on spots, and I just want to fish high percentage areas.
Yeah. If I don't know if you have a frog sponsor or not, but I mean, I see your box and I see right away when you started showing frogs, you had multiple different brands there. Is there frogs that you really like, or is it you buy different frogs for different reasons, or do you buy different frogs for different colors?
So to me, I used to be, this was the only one I used to throw. That's a Bobby's Perfect. That's a old snag proof Bobby's Perfect frog. Not sponsored by any frog company. Jackal, I obviously am with Shimano. Jackal makes the Jackal Kiera frog. It's a great frog, but it is a smaller version. It's a lot smaller, like a downside frog.
Right.
And it's good when they get really, really pressured, but I'm talking full size regular frogs.
Yeah.
This was the only one I threw. This was the Bobby's Perfect frog. Snag proof. I'm not going to say they went out of business, but I think they did actually go out of business about 5 or 6 years ago. I believe American Bait Works bought Snag Proof, and they come out with a new fat frog and a new Bobby's Perfect. And to me, I didn't have the same success with the new ones that I had with the old ones. So I still have these that I fish tournaments with, but I do not throw these for fun or on guide trips or anything like that. These are just strictly for tournaments now. So obviously I had to find another frog that I liked to go fun fish with and to guide fish with. And I have narrowed down the 2 that I like the most, the Berkeley Swamp Lord and the Spro. You can see the Swamp Lord's a little bit bigger of a frog. It's a little bit bigger profile. It's wider. I really like this one for really thick mats because because of its weight, it sits lower in the water. So I think it actually creates more commotion in mats so they can feel it. Obviously they can feel it, but when that frog's moving the mat, I think they can feel it better. And the Swamp Lord to me is the softest frog. Like when you barely put any pressure on it, it collapses 100%. It has a really good hook in it. The hookup ratio is really, really well. And what I do like about it is the hooks are wider on the frog. They're not really, really close to it. So I think that really helps the hookup ratio. Another one that I've thrown, the problem with this frog, very inconsistent buying them. And that's a Spro. And this one is a perfect one. I pretty much scour the Spro wall when I go to stores to see which ones I like. And the reason I say it's perfect, if you look, the hooks are right along the edge, but they're not too far out and they're not too far on the bait. And one thing that I saw that these frogs did a lot out of the package is one will be perfect, and then there'll be 6 of them next to it on the peg, and the actually hook is wider than the frog. If it's open water, we're talking docks, lay down. No
problem. Yeah.
No problem. But you're talking mats. When that hook is a little bit wider than the bait, every time you twitch it, guess what? The hooks are every time. So
yeah.
I think if I had to pick one frog today to just tell someone, go buy that one, you're good, it's going to be the Swamp Lord. If you can scour a tackle store and go through every frog they have to pick out the one perfect one, it would be the Spro. I really like that one. But to me, the Berkeley they knocked it out of the park talking frog fishing with this one. So that's the best that I could tell someone just to go buy straight out of the pack would be the Swamp Lord.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't know about other tackle shops. We don't mind when you scour through the Spro department. The only thing is, if you could put them back on the peg when you're done. 200 frogs laying on the floor is a problem. You got to clean up on aisle 5.
What I do, I don't know if you noticed this. I went through your frogs and I picked out all the good ones that I thought.
I'm pretty sure you went back into the back warehouse section and went through all those frogs too. But you know what, Alex, you can pretty much get away with anything you want up here because you're part of the team. So you said something that caught my attention, and it's something that I don't in my own fishing. I know Mike and I fish together a lot of tournaments, big 8, 9, 10 boat tournaments. The follow-up to the frog. Like, we had a good fish on Sunday that blew up on a frog way back in the cheese mat, and we were able to make a perfect cast with a jig and go right in that hole he made and instantly caught that fish. What's your breakdown on the whole follow-up thing? What are you following up with? What's your feeling on success rate of follow-up? If you could go into that just a little bit.
So if I feel like I can make accurate flip, and I flip 1.5 ounces, if it's thick enough for a frog, I want 1.5 ounces. If I feel like I can make the perfect flip and he's close enough to where I don't never try to go in the hole. I always try to go left or right of the hole just by like 2 inches. If I feel like I can flip in there accurately, not make this big commotion, I'm going to usually throw the frog another cast on him because he won. So my second, if he blows up and misses it, I'm throwing the frog back in there. If I throw the frog back in there and he doesn't get it, my next cast is going to be flipped to him. If I can flip to him. A lot of times, like where I was catching the Mississippi River, there was no possibility of flipping back on one. They were just so far up in there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with that is a lot of times there's 2 different fish. There's frog fish, there's flipping fish to me. A frog fish, he is high in the water. He's up underneath the mat. So when you flip in there, you have to realize you don't want your bait going to the bottom because he's high in the mat. So you want to flip in there. You let it sink, but then you want to yo-yo it and get it to where your bait keeps hitting the mat, and then you drop it like 6 inches. Hit the mat, drop it 6 inches because he is high in the water. So that's my main kind of thing. And bait to me doesn't matter. I actually flip with a cleanup crawl by Crush City. It does have a little bit of action, so I do like it when I'm yo-yoing it, that bait's got little kicker legs, so there's something moving. If you try to do it with just a beaver, I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but a bait that has zero action when you're trying to yo-yo it at the surface to get him to bite, I just want a bait that has action. So I flip a Crush City, the cleanup crawl.
Which is a streamlined profile also.
Very, very streamlined. And that's one thing you want it to be streamlined because it's got to go through the mat. So if you have that's wider, or if you're trying to throw like I've seen actually people try to throw like a jig through there. In the bait's big, it doesn't want to go through the mat. Next thing you know, you've got a bait that's just hopping on top of the mat and it's not really doing much. And it kind of actually ruins the fish, in my opinion. So I just flip 1.5 ounces with a Crush City cleanup crawl. Color, I use black and blue or green pumpkin, mainly black and blue. I don't think that matters. I think it's more of the fish and just getting him to react.
Mm-hmm. Nick, you have a question?
Oh yeah. Hi, Alex. How you doing? I got a question here. You're talking about the frog, and everybody always asks this when they come in here. What's your setup? Rod, reel, line? What's the deal?
Super important.
Yeah.
So we actually designed at Shimano. I used to use when I first started frog fishing, a good friend of mine kind of taught me how to frog fish, and he never lost any. So I want to know his setup. So he used to use an 894 Loomis flipping stick, is the one with the recoil guides on it. And it's actually the one that had Ranger printed on it. So we're talking 20 years ago.
Wow.
GLX.
Yeah.
GLX. Yep. GLX.
Yep.
So that's the one I frog fished with. And then the guys at Shimano, they wanted to come out with frog rods a couple of years ago. And I said, well, we'd actually need 2 frog rods. You can't just frog fish with one. You need 2 rods, one an open water frog rod and then a mat rod. So we came with a 7-1 Heavy Plus Zodius, and that's the one I use for open water, skipping around docks, stuff like that. Now, the one for mat fishing is a 7-4 Extra Heavy Plus Zodius rod. It's the baddest mamma jamma there is. It'll get them out of anything. I use 65-pound Power Pro regular, not Max Quattro, just 65-pound regular Power Pro. I've never had it fail me in 18 years of frog fishing, so it's not going to fail me now. It's tried and true. And I use a Karadu 200. I don't use a 200 for a lot of things. I use a 150, but for frog fishing, due to 65-pound braid, wanting a higher line capacity, bigger, deeper spool, I use a 200. That thing has a big power handle on it, so you can winch them out. And I keep it real simple. Karadu 200, 65-pound Power Pro, that Zodius 7-4 Extra Heavy, and call her a day. I mean, I don't,
Awesome.
don't get that's the best setup I've ever put in my hands.
I'm sure that reel's an 8-1.
XG. Yeah, I use an XG. It's just, I don't really know if you need it as far as getting them out. It's just, to me, when one blows up on it and I twitch it, because I work the frog really slow. And when one blows up on it, and if he misses it and I'm twitching it back in, I want to reel it in really fast and throw it right back out there. So that's why I use XG.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. The other thing I like about that high ratio is when you set the hook, you're way behind yourself, and then you can get back in front of yourself again. That helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Alex, tips on the biggest problem with frog fishing is setting a hook. I don't care who you are. You're frogging, you're throwing like 150 casts, and then you all of a sudden get on that area where you throw out and you get that blow up, and you just you're just so excited you just pull it right out of their mouth. What's the way to help yourself with getting more hook sets, hooking up better, having a better hookup ratio in frogging?
So the best way to do it, which is really hard, it only takes one day. That's all it takes. One day, you'll be a master. And the reason I learned this is I went with the buddy who taught me. He was actually practicing for a tournament. And he said, "Do you want to go frog fishing?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't worry about bringing no rods. I got everything." I thought, cool, I'll go join you. It'd be awesome. I looked up to him. His name was Marshall Deakins. He's one of the greatest frog fishermen Gunnersville's ever had. And I thought, this will be awesome. I'm going to go with Marshall, and I'm going to learn about frog fishing. He said, "Don't bring no rods. I got you covered." Cool. So we go fishing. He hands me a rod. I didn't investigate the frog to realize this frog did not have hooks. And it did have hooks coming out of the frog, so I didn't think nothing about it. But he had cut the hooks actually off, the points off.
Right.
So I'm twitching it. One blows up. I set the hook. Whoa. I set the hook. Well, I was like, man, I missed him. Well, after like the third one, I'm like, what is going on? Why do I keep missing? I don't understand. Am I setting the hook? I asked him, am I setting the hook too early? What's going on? He kind of chuckles. And he said, "Look at the frog." And I looked at it and I was like, "It ain't got no hooks on it." And he and so I just thought we're practicing. But what I learned that day was something that I tell people. This is, if you want to learn how to frog fish, cut the hooks off of it where you can't hook one. When one blows up on it, you're not going to set the hook. You don't have hooks. Like, you can't catch him. But what that does is when he blows up on it, you don't do anything. You just freeze. So it A, teaches you to freeze, and B, it teaches you if he has it or not. Because when he blows up on it, the only thing you can do is kind of like reel down and tell, does he have it? Does he not have it?
Mm-hmm.
After you do that for a solid day, you learn to figure out when he has it, when he doesn't have it, what blow-ups look like when he got it, what blow-ups look like when they don't get it. And then
wow.
You twitch it again and he blows up on it again. Well, you didn't get him that time. You twitch it again. He blows up on it. And then that time when he blew up on it, you feel it. Oh, he got it. So that one day of going to practice with my buddy taught me more about frog fishing than I would have ever learned had I had hooks on there. So I try to tell people, go do it one day, especially if you're practicing for a tournament with no hooks. You'll learn what it looks like when they got it, what it looks like when they don't have it, what it feels like when he actually has it. Like, you'll feel him swimming. I mean, and it's amazing when I practice for tournaments now, because I don't have hooks. They'll get it, and when he gets it, he'll swim under that mat. I've had him swim for like 20 seconds. I've had him swim 20 yards underneath the mat, where it's just like, no, he's just swimming in through the mat with it. So my biggest tip is go fish one day without hooks, and you'll learn more about frog fishing that day than you will with days on end with hooks.
Great tip.
Yeah, I would like to see somebody who's dedicated enough to do that. I love it. That's probably one of the best tips I've ever heard on this show or anywhere. But getting somebody to do that is a whole different thing.
Well, I'll tell you, at the Mississippi River in 3 days of practice, I only set the hook on 3, because after I caught the third one, I put one that didn't have hooks on it. So my next 2 days, my next 34 hours of frog fishing, so like my buddies, Keith would call me and was like, how many you caught? And I said, none. He's like, okay, how many bites have you had? I said, oh, bites. Okay, yeah, I've had like 18 bites today, but I didn't, I wasn't lying to him. I had 18 bites.
Yeah.
I don't have hooks.
Question from one of our listeners here tonight, Trey Mills. What about trailer hooks? Did you ever use trailer hooks on frog?
That's a ploy to sell to fishermen. That does not. I've tried it. I do know they make the little thing. It's got like 2 little rings, and then all that's going to do is when your frog lands, they don't always land. They don't always land like this. A lot of times when you cast it, guess what? He lands like this, upside down. When you put a hook and he lands upside down on a mat, the first time you go to twitch it, now you have a trailer hook full of grass. So the trailer hook thing, not for me. And those trailer hooks that I've tried them. The trailer hooks that they sell, it's a flimsy little hook. And when you jack one, if you do somehow only catch him on the trailer hook, it's going to bend it out and you're going to lose him anyway. So that's just not for me.
Yeah, good tip.
So, Alex, we're coming up into, I mean, I'm sure it's probably the dog days of summer where you live, but up here we're starting to get, as you well know, because you were just up on La Crosse, we're starting to get those 50-degree nights. We're starting to get that water temperatures in the 70s. It's that transition time where it can be a little frustrating, but it's also the beginning of a really good frog bite around here, or can be. How is that compared to Guntersville, your area, and what can you tell us a little different about frogging in the fall? I mean, from frogging vegetation to something that I think is completely overlooked, which is frogging hardcover. What kind of early fall transition frog tips? Because we're right here. We're very anxious to hear.
So in the fall, the one thing I like about it is fish group up. It doesn't matter if you're catching them like schooling fish. Like, this is one of the only times, like down here, we have schooling fish, and they really group up in the fall. You'll fish hundreds of yards, but when you find them, you really find them. That's the same with frog fishing. They're grouping up a lot. So the biggest thing I can say is just cover a bunch of water. And when you find them, stop. Like, that's my main thing, is you might fish hundreds of yards, but when you get a bite, just stop. Just completely stop, put your poles down, and really work an area over. And you'll really be surprised of how many fish will get in a very small area. Like a mat the size of my living room, you might get 10 to 12 bites out of a very small patch. And I tell people, that's the bites that you're getting. That's not how many fish live there. That's just the one bite. Like, they get so concentrated this time of year that when you find them, you can have like the special days, the days that you always remember. But the one thing, I think the biggest thing I see people do wrong is they get a bite, they reel him in, and their next cast is like 35 foot the other way, and they keep going. And it's like, you just passed possibly a gold mine. Like, I remember one time when I fished a tournament here, it was an ABA national championship. And I started in this one itty bitty mat. Like, it was probably the size of the front of my boat. And I drug 7 out of what one was one drag mark. When I got done, it was 7 drag marks that was all together. Like, they was that close together. I mean, I was throwing like every 6 inches. So they get really, really concentrated this time of year. The main thing is don't when you catch one, throw right next to them, like 6 inches were right or left of your drag mark. Don't just fire it out there another 50 foot ahead of the boat, because you've probably missed a whole school of fish.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
fall frogging, in your power rankings, like top 5 techniques, for fall, where are you putting frogging?
1.
I
1.
knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Got another question here from one of our listeners here. What about we're looking at all kinds of walking frogs here. What about popping frogs?
The best one I've seen is the Swamp Lord. They make a popping frog, and it's the best one that I've seen that it walks and spits water, but it walks really easily. Like, it walks back and forth.
Yeah.
That's, a lot of the problems I've tried with popping frogs is you go to work it and it wants to keep popping forward, not walking back and forth. And that Berkeley one, it's one of the better ones that I've seen. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by Pure Fish.
Right.
No way form. That's just the best frog that I've personally seen. I think they did really well with that one.
When do you throw a popping frog as opposed to a walking frog?
The only time I throw a popping frog is on the edge of a mat. I will never throw a popping frog in a mat. It seems like it does more damage than it does good, because you're not popping water. You're just on top of a mat. But anytime, like a lot of times, you'll be fishing a mat and you'll see them blowing up like right on the edge of it, like right where it goes from mat to scattered. If I see that in an area and they keep doing it over and over, I'll pull out there with the popping frog and throw first 8 foot in the mat and then work it to the edge. And that's when I start walking it back and forth.
Are you a toad guy?
No, I hate a toad more than anything. Like, me off so bad. I remember when the Stanley Ribbon came out. I'll never forget this. An old man friend of mine said, I found this new lure. And I said, what you got? He said, it's a ribbit frog. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm down for a good time. Let's go. And I bet you that day we had 60 blow-ups. And you're reeling it, and it's just whoosh, and we're setting the hook and missing them. And to this day, I hate, people say, oh, you got to get the ones that's got the double hooks. That way you got 2 chances. I said, it don't matter if I got 2 chances if the damn thing ain't got it in his mouth. I mean, it don't help me.
He's down. He's not down with the toad.
He don't like the toad.
Hogwash. It's like
hogwash.
So switching up a little bit here, Alex, you also had a phenomenal tournament on the James River this year.
I did.
You did. I mean, you were 24th place. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, and you know where I'm going here. We're river rats, and we are tide water junkies. We got the Potomac just down the road. We got the Chesapeake Bay right across the street. I mean, we're down with tide water. We're down with rivers. Everything you did well on this year is kind of like our wheelhouse. Now, let's talk a little bit about that tournament. So, it's first of all, it was hotter than blazes.
God.
I mean, it was probably the second hottest place on planet Earth that weekend. Mike and I.
Oh, wait a second. You hear what he said? He's like, gosh.
Yeah.
And he's in Alabama.
Yeah. Well, Mike and I fished a tournament that weekend, and we watched the final day weigh-in back at his house when we got home from the tournament. It was blazing hot. I can only imagine what it was like on the James.
The water temperature the last day was 94.5. What?
Which is actually good for tidal water fishing in summer.
Temperature was like 122. That was one of those tournaments that I've never experienced. I mean, I live in Alabama. I'm used to it being hot. There's a difference between hot and hell. There is, and I was in it. It was extreme. I remember I think I was buying 60 pounds of ice for the fish, and I got a temperature gauge on my icon, and it actually shows you the water temperature gauge in your live well. And I was putting a bag every hour in, and I would get it 5 degrees cooler than the actual river. And within an hour, it was already back up there. And I had it on recirculate. So, I mean, that was extreme heat is all I can say.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. This whole region up here from Virginia on up this summer, we had such a stretch like that it became normal. Kind of miss it now, the fall's in the air. But that particular day, we watched the weigh-in, and Mike and I did on his front porch after our tournament, and man, it was blazing hot. But as a tidal water fishery, those fish are active. What's your feelings on like timing of the tides, water temperature, all that good stuff? Just to kind of summarize it, if you would.
So the James River is one of my favorite places we've ever been. The issue that we had is they bite on a low tide. I've been there, I think, times, and I've seen consistently they like the last 2 hours of outgoing and the first 2 hours of incoming. So they like a low tide. Just so happens the whole time we're fishing, we are dealt with high tide, the whole event. In practice, I had a few areas flipping on low tide that was it was some of the best flipping I've ever seen. It was flipping a patch of pads, dong, flip 10 foot, dong, go. I was like, this is amazing. But then I revisited those places the following day on a high tide, and you would never get a bite. Those fish just slid up all the way up into those marsh areas. And they, because in low tide, they'd come out of the marsh and they'd get on those edges. But in high tide, they just go up. So
yeah,
I kicked it old school. I did something that 99% of people probably don't even do or know about. And I threw a slider head.
Oh.
So I threw a slider head with it's a Crush City. It's their Nico worm. And I didn't want it that long. That bait it's a little long. So I cut off the first inch of it to make it about a 5.5 inch profile. And I was fishing near the boat ramp. I fished up actually towards the boat ramp, not going all the way down the Chickahominy. And I was fishing rock, any kind of place where rock was. And that's why I went with the slider head, because I tried to throw the drop shot. And when you throw the drop shot, it gets stuck every cast. You throw it in there, you'd go as soon as you start working the drop shot, he was like, oh, hung again. Let me break another sinker off. So in practice, I learned real quick, I'm either going to go through 500 tungsten sinkers or I'm going to throw a slider head. So I picked up the slider head. And if for no one that's ever done that, you can throw a slider head through
a barbed wire fence,
anything. So I threw the slider head. I think I caught all of them. One day I caught a couple swimming a jig, and there was where I was fishing, where it was all the rocks. There was one kind of backwater area that had a bunch of laydowns. And when the water actually would be on high tide, they would be at the base, right there at the bank where the laydown started. So in high tide, I'd go through there, swim a jig, catch a couple, 2 or 3 a day doing it. But I think the one day I had a 580 and one day I had a 6.1, and they both came on slider head.
Yeah, that's big fish on a slider head. I hope you're using Pro Series hooks.
Was that in the Chick, or were you up? Did you stay up in the James?
I stayed up in the James. I stayed up by the boat ramp.
Well, that's where the low tide was.
Oh, okay.
The low tide was up north.
Yeah.
That's why he was staying up there. I mean, you had what little bit of low tide you were getting. It was in the morning up north.
If you went to the Chickahominy, the time you got there, you were dealing with high tide. You were virtually dealing with the first 3 hours of high tide. So you'd get there and it was rising. So the whole time you're fishing, you're just getting a rising tide, then a slack tide, and then the outgoing of a high tide. It was the worst conditions ever for the Chickahominy. And when you looked at the tournament results, there was a couple guys that caught him in the Chickahominy, but not many. And the guys who did catch him in the Chickahominy all said the same thing. I caught my fish in the last 20 minutes because that was right when the tide was getting good. They got 20 minutes of good fishing time. They'd have to come in. So that tournament would have been different. I'm not going to say the winner would have been different, but it would have been a different tournament as far as where people caught them had the tide been better for low tide. I think a lot more people would have caught bigger bags in the Chickahominy.
Yeah, that's interesting that you pointed that out, because that tournament was a textbook classroom lesson on following the right tide.
Yeah.
And you know what? When it's low water up north, that's where you fish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say the results would have been different because
Right.
I believe Keith Poche won that one. I think Chad, I butcher his last name every time. I think it's Mrazek. He come in second. He actually caught him scoping in the James or in the Chickahominy. But I believe if the tide would have been different, you go there a week later, I think you would have seen a lot more bigger bags come from the Chickahominy. But that's tidal fisheries, and that's kind of one thing that's one thing I've learned on titles is you can't go in doing what you want to do if the tide's not going to allow that. You have to do what the tide's giving you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good. That's excellent discipline.
I love the way you broke that down.
That's
I mean, you
excellent
are
discipline.
a river rat at heart.
I truly at heart, I want to take all the 360s and all the lives off, and I just want this little itty bitty boat, and I want to go do it's like that meme, the little Instagram meme. I want to go do hood rat things with my friends. Like that's what I want to do. I want to get.
I love it.
To go in a river, and I just want to jack some fish.
I freaking love it. We're river guys at heart. We live right here on the Susquehanna, as you well know. Hopefully, one of these years when you come up here and work, it won't be frozen and we can take you fishing.
I'd say it won't be snow on the ground. That'd be cool.
or the water won't be hard. Last time you were up, the water was hard, but we will get you on this river and let you experience what you're already used to. I'm sure you've been up in the headwaters of your lake many, many, many a time. But yeah, we do it out of a jet boat. And we do the James, we do the Potomac, we do the Chesapeake. We love getting down and dirty. And you know what? We got sucked into all this freaking electronic bullshit strapped onto our trolling motors. And now we got to carry 2x2 boards with us to put underneath the trolling motors. And one of these days, they're coming off.
Yeah.
And they're coming off violently.
Yeah.
What's actually kind of funny is that lacrosse. So with the invitation, they have the 1 day of no scope. You can't use scope, can't use 360. And I went through, we have lock boxes that put on. And I went through the boat check and he said, "Hey, Alex, where's your lock box?" And I said, "For what? Look at my trolling motor." And he said, I mean, I took everything off. And when I got home on Monday, I'm not putting it back on. Like this fall, I mean, all that stuff does is just grab more grass and get in my way. So yeah. I'm going to be, I feel like I'm free balling out there right now. I'm just cutting through mats. I'm just going. I'm not having to bring grass with me. It's a mighty fine feeling, I must say.
Jerry, I'm free and I'm loving it.
Well, Alex, I'm glad you brought that up because I know it's a different series, but down your way at Gunnersville, I think that's the first stop of the elites next year. And they're not going to be able to use anything like that, I believe.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
When I looked at that and I saw that before I knew they changed the rules, I fished against Tucker Smith. That kid is absolutely phenomenal. He's an amazing fisherman.
He is.
I fished against him this year in March. They had an ABA. It's the big ABA solo tournament, and it was a really good payout tournament. It's a big entry fee. Pays real well. I caught 30 pounds the first day. 30 pounds.
Gosh.
Third, it's Tucker Smith and Hayden Obar. Hayden Obar is a great young fisherman from here. He's an amazing angler, and we caught them all scoping. I said I caught him scoping. I actually caught 4 of them in the grass. I did catch some scoping that day, and I did weigh in one. The second day I did catch all scoping. But when I saw the Gunners were on the schedule, I told a couple buddies of mine, I said, hand the check to Tucker Smith. Like, he is not going to be beaten on this lake with scope. He's probably the best scoper, minnow fisherman. He understands how to make those fish bite. He understands how to find them. And it's something like I've never seen. Like, that kid is next level. So when they took the scope away, you're taking all those floating fish clean away. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the results. When you look at the top weights, it's not going to be like, in my opinion, if they had that tournament with scope, you possibly was going to see 110 to 120 pounds, I think, win. Like, it was going to be unreal. Like, you was going to see, you would have seen, I would say 60th place be 20 pounds. Like, it was going to be some unreal things. When you take scope away, that eliminates that whole bite. That eliminates that whole open water fish out there roaming, which to me, I like it because that's how I was raised. That's how I learned how to fish Gunnersville. So I think you're going to see a really good tournament. You're not going to see the amount of fish catches and the amount of big ones, but you're going to see a straight up grass fishing clinic is what you're going to see. And you're going to, I'd still say winning weights are going to be 90. I'd say 90 pounds winning weight. You're just not good. No one's going to crack the 120, 110 pound mark. So it'll be a really fun tournament. Tucker's still going to catch them. He's fished here a lot and he is a great angler. But they could have wrote him the check before they ever showed up had it been and give the trophy ever starts.
True that. Very, 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 very true. So we might see the rattle trap in action.
If I was fishing that tournament, I would have 3 rattle traps tied on. Or I use a Jackal, the disc knocker, the 70 disc knocker, and the old school Excalibur, the old one.
Yeah.
But if I was fishing that tournament, I would have 3. I would have a disc knocker and spawn tiger, a Rayburn Red XR50, and then I would have they call it Royal Shed. It was a color that Troy Jens, a longtime guide on the lake, he came up with it. It's like purple, white.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have those 3 on, and if I was fishing that tournament, I'm gonna have those 3 baits, and that's all I'm gonna throw the entire time. I'll never put it down.
My man.
Wow.
Now we're talking.
That's cool, man.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. That sounds really exciting because, for the guys who complain about forward-facing sonar, although I'd love to see a 120-pound bag come in, 120-pound winning weight, that would be unbelievable. It's gonna appease a lot of that old school crowd.
Well, it does. It's kind of fun to me. I really like it, and it appeases the anglers like me that I'm not a scoper. I do enjoy it. I like to go do it, but I'm not a scoper at heart. In my heart, I want to go throw a rattle trap that time of year. That's what I want to go do. So it's going to be a fun tournament because you're going to get to bring back like when George Cochran won in, I think, 2004 when he had 100 pounds. Ike and Ellie did real well a few times here early in the year, throwing I think it was like a series 4 actually. You're going to get to see that come back. And I look forward to that. Only thing I can say is for all those guys who have pretty much cussed live scoping and cussed those live scopers, they better bring the A game, because if they get beat at that one by the scope and it's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be pretty.
You know what they say about that, Alex?
So
don't let your mouth write checks that your ass can't cash.
But I'm really going to look forward to that tournament. I think if I had to pick one, and I'm just going to say this now, Brandon Lester is my pick to win that tournament. I think he lives in Tim's Ford. I don't know exactly, but that's pretty close to here. He has spent a lot of time on Gunnersville. Like, I see him a bunch, actually. I see him more than the pros who live on the lake.
Wow.
So he spends a lot of time at Gunnersville. He understands. He's had a lot of great tournaments here that time of year, and he spends a lot of time here. So I'm just going to go and say I'm going with the Brandon Lester to win the first Elite Series tournament at Lake Gunnersville next year.
Wow.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Wow. You're not going to take Tucker Smith?
I think if it was scope, I'd put any amount of money on Tucker Smith.
Yeah.
I think Lester has the years of knowledge of Gunnersville and grass fishing. He has seen it like back in the day before we had when we had hydrilla, milfoil. He has fished it when it changed and went to eelgrass. So I think Lester has seen so much of the lake and see how it changed, understands the fish. That's why I'm giving him the edge. It's kind of one of those things when the scope is taken away. I think you have to give the advantage to the guys who have years and years and years of knowledge. And when you bring scope into it, you have to give it to the guys who have the thousands of hours with live scope and understanding live scope and how fish react. So it's going to be a real cool. It's actually going to be really fun to watch the Elite Series next year and just watch how it transitions each tournament and who is. I guess next year will be the greatest angler of the year that we're going to have as far as I shouldn't say greatest, but it'll be awesome to see who wins angler of the year, knowing they had to do everything to catch them. Like they have to be a smallmouth guy with scope at St. Lawrence, and they have to be a smallmouth guy without scope at Champlain. So it's cool to watch that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I got something interesting I want to talk to you about. We do a segment on this show every week. It's called Tackle Talk. And before we lose you and send you back to your time off of enjoying a couple days off, I got a couple rods in today. Actually, I got them in yesterday for my cast, which we talked about when we were there, you, me, and Nick. And I want to get your take on them. So 2 of the rods that I was going to break down tonight on Tackle Talk Live, Tackle Talk, was the new X Pride solid tips.
Uh-huh.
So we have the 7.2 medium, and I got them right here to hold up to the camera, and the 7.4 medium plus, and I mean, really, they're, all the talk is about scoping with these rods.
Yep.
Because of the solid tip. We had the 610 medium and medium heavy last year. So if you would be kind enough to just kind of give us your, and these guys that are watching freaking love Tackle Talk. I mean, they love it. This is like the sports center of the show. So if you could break it down, what's all about these solid tips? I'm sure you have experience with them.
So the solid tip, what they do with that is you can't see it. If you put a reel on it and use actually to bend it, that solid tip, it's really flat. I mean, it actually does this. It'll hook over. So what that does is it gives the minnow the action. That solid tip is allowing you to really twitch the minnow and make it roll side to side like that. Do what it's supposed to do. But then you have the backbone. And see, that's hard to do. Without a solid tip, you can't do that. You can't make a rod have backbone for 90% of it and then all of a sudden just have straight tip. It's humanly impossible. That's where solid tip comes in. So that solid tip gives it where you can work the bait, but then you have the backbone to get a good hook set in them. The 2 models, the 7.4 medium plus, that's going to be for the 6-inch, your 6-inch and up minnows. So 6-inch jerk shad, 6-inch sakamata, 7-inch sakamata, the big drift fry. They actually make, I think, like a 6.5-inch jackal drift fry in Japan. So to me, 6-inch minnow and up, that's going to be thrown on the 7.4. And then the other model, I believe it's a 7.2. Is that what you just said? I believe that's what it is.
7.2 medium.
7.2 medium, I'm going to throw anything from 5 inches and smaller. So from the Crush City Mooch minnow up to the freeloader, and even I wouldn't. The bigger freeloader, the new sizes, the 5.25 and the 6.25 freeloader, I'm going to throw that on the 7.4. But then the Mooch minnow, and they actually have a smaller Mooch minnow and a bigger Mooch minnow this year, along with the freeloader. That's the one I'm going to throw on the 7.2. So they're 2 scoping rods, and I hate to. I never like to say a rod is only good for one thing.
Right.
Rods are good for scoping. That's what they're designed for. That's what you buy them for. Don't, I'm not trying to tell anyone don't buy it, but don't buy it thinking you can also throw a shaky in. It is designed 100% for scoping, and not just a minnow. The dice is a big thing now. Scoping the dice. I watched any of the Invitational Championship up there at Mississippi River. I think it's I get the Robinsons confused, so I think it's Mitchell Robinson. He won one year. He won at Hartwell, and he did really well day one, and he scoped a dice. So it's just not for minnows. If I'm going to scope the dice, I'm going to throw the dice on the medium, the medium action one. So smaller minnows and dice, I throw on the medium. 6-inch plus minnows, throw on the 7.4.
That's a great breakdown. The other thing that we found with the 610 medium and medium heavy solid tip, really nice Ned rig rod.
They are. I actually use for the Ned rig. I've been a big fan of the 7.2 medium light, or the X Pride. I'm sorry, 7.2 medium light X Pride. It's like that's like my favorite drop shot Ned rig rod. So I kind of get when I get really comfortable with something, I kind of just if it ain't don't fix it theory.
Yeah.
So drop shot in a Ned, I use the 7.2 medium light X Pride, and then when I scope, I go with those solid tips.
I like the fact that you discussed the dice with those, because up here on the river for smallmouth, we've been doing a lot of dice, just casting and drifting them through shallow. And we're fishing in 2 foot of water, so you cast it out and you just kind of float it like you're trout fishing.
Yeah,
through an area after you've kind of had some carnage there, and it's a really nice cleanup bait. So I think that solid tip rod is going to feel nice for that.
Yeah, no, I've done it, and it's very, very nice for it.
They're beautiful. I mean, the X Pride line, but yeah, appreciate that breakdown.
I got a question for you. So I see you're riding around in an Icon.
Yes, sir.
What was your boat prior to that? Icon.
I was in a Ranger for 18 years.
All right. Talk to me about this Icon.
So this Icon is, to me, the finest piece of machinery as a boat I've ever been in. I've been in a lot of boats. I've been, I think, every model. And anyone out there knows that you go break one in, use it for the first couple months, and guess what you find in the floor?
Screws and nuts and bolts.
Nuts, bolts, and screws. That's what you find. I can say that I have not found one nut, bolt, or screw in this boat in 9 months, and I've been Gunnersville, Pickwick, St. Lawrence River, not one nut, bolt, nothing. It is thought out by fishermen for fishermen. Like when I first kind of looked into it, I have a buddy, his name's Brent Butler, and he was telling me about the boat when they first released it at Bassmaster Classic. And, he was telling me we've measured where you step from the front deck to how big the cooler actually lengthwise is, to then step straight to the middle where the in between the seats is to get to the back deck. He said, we measured your steps so it's not too long where you're not having to take that big one. And I'm not going to lie. When he told me that the first time those boats came out, sure you did. Sure you did. Once I've been in it, everything is designed for fishermen, like where the buttons are, where the keys are. The whole thing is laid out for fishermen, and not, it's one of the better. I have the VLX 21, so they have an LX and they have a VLX model. The VLX model, in my opinion, is more of a sporty model. And when I say that, you get more high-speed performance. You get more high performance out of it. It can turn on a dime. It's an amazing ride. It's one of the biggest front decks it's the biggest front deck, I believe, on the market. I think I'm 6'1". I got a pretty long wingspan, and I can lay down on the boat and put my hands up, and you're still not touching the whole thing. It is.
Wow.
It's great for me as a guide. Because when I get clients on the boat, when you get a narrower boat and then you put rods up on each side and then you got a guy standing there, stuff starts getting stepped on. And that boat there, you put another person on the front and put 5 rods on each side. And it's like, you want to square dance while we're up here? I mean, it's a fine piece of machinery. It rides extremely rough water. It's the best boat I've ever been in. And hopefully it'll be the only boat I'm in the rest of my career.
Well, I mean, the company that makes some of the most amazing mega center consoles that you'll ever see.
Yeah, so I actually last year, I got to go tour the facility at Icon and HCB. And Icon's it's a new company. I think they've been around 3 years, I want to say. 3 or 4 years. And the one thing when I went to the factory and saw how they were making it, and the main thing that convinced me was when I went to the HCB factory and watched them make these yachts.
Incredible.
They had a cabinet shop inside of the boat manufacturing factory. Like, they're not outsourcing cabinets. They're making the cabinets in-house. And I'm looking at these boats and I'm like, these are the biggest, best boats I've ever seen in my life. Like, these things are amazing. And I thought to myself, if they can make these yachts, they can make a bass boat. Like, it's pretty simple. If you can make a $2 million yacht, I think you probably make a bass boat pretty well.
Yeah, their center consoles are amazing. I've seen a bunch of them in the water, and it's just,
they're cool.
I mean, it's perfection. So when I first heard of Icon, and then I put the two pieces together, it's not like it's a new bass boat company.
No,
it's a new bass boat made by a company that's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, a company that knows how to make a amazing quality boat. Now they make an amazing quality.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Now, couple shout outs for you before we let you go. So your boat's for sale. So we're going to help advertise that.
Boat is for sale.
So anybody listening to this show, if you use the discount code SFT20, Alex will hook you up with a deep discount. And also,
yeah. Well, and not only that, but I think if Alex really wants to sell it, he would make us a great offer, George and I. And
we can't afford it.
It would be super special.
We can't afford it
to where we could afford it.
Well, our problem is we're tackle poor. Now, the other thing I wanted to give you some shout out on is you run a very successful long-term guide service on Guntersville, which is a top 5 destination in the U.S. So guys, if you want to fish with Alex, the fall through the winter into the spring is the best time of the year to be on Guntersville. And just look up Spinnerbait Kid Guide Service, correct?
SpinnerbAitKid.com. A lot of people look at it on Instagram. I just have Alex Davis Fishing. A lot of people get a hold of me there. But yeah, get on SpinnerbAitKid.com, get on Facebook or Instagram, send me a message, and go catch some fish.
Yeah, and if we could say enough, we could say enough. I mean, Alex has been here 2-3 times working events. He's worked with us at ICAST. He's helped us out immeasurably. He was kind enough to come on the show tonight.
Yeah.
If you guys are thinking about going down that way fishing,
well,
I don't know how many guides are on Guntersville, but I know the one I'd be picking.
Well, the thing about that is, I mean, you've been guiding since you're 20 years old, and spend tons of hours on there. But the biggest thing with a guide is a personality, and I can promise you're going to have a good day on the water with Alex Davis, because he's got the personality that the SFT crew loves, and Tackle Shop Live listeners love, because they watch us, so he's the kind of guy you want to go fishing with, because it's all about the whole day. It's experience, not only catching fish, but if you go catch fish with a dull freaking human being and you come off the water, but if you go fishing with somebody,
you and I have fished with a couple guides already that were like,
it was like the boring, terrible.
Them. We crushed fish.
Yeah.
And it was like,
it was terrible.
Forsaken.
This is the full package. He's going to put you on fish, and not only that, but you're going to have a good day on the water. So you're going to have a fun time.
I would check it out. And also, Alex, if there's anything else you'd like to throw out there before we cut you off, and let you get back to your evening,
shoot away.
Now's your time. Now's your time to say whatever you want to say.
Buy more Shimano rods and reels.
You are the ultimate ambassador to Shimano, the ultimate guy, because you understand rods, you understand reels, you've been with them a long time. You're one of their greatest ambassadors that they have. And
we're leaning on to get you back up here again for Bass Fest in January. So we hope that works out. And Alex, thank you so much. Congratulations on a great year. I mean, you fished a really good year. You had nothing really too low. You had a couple really good high finishes. I know you're probably just fired up for next year. And you know what? After all these years, That's the best thing. That's the best thing you can say about being a tournament fisherman.
Yeah.
I'm going to St. Clair Monday. I'm going to fish a tournament there.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Yeah, so there's a big team tournament next week. I got a friend of mine that lives south of Chicago, and we treat this as like our fishing vacation. He don't get to fish a lot, and we enjoy spending time with each other. So we're going to go actually – we're going to drive. I'm going to drive to his house Monday. We're going to go to St. Clair Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, fish the tournament Saturday. And then we're going to Bears Cowboys on Sunday.
Go Bears. Go Bears. Go Bears.
Right
All
on,
right,
buddy.
brother. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Alex, so much. Good seeing you again, pal.
We'll catch up with you.
See you in January.
Right
Yeah.
on, brother. All right, well, there you have it, man.
That was great.
Doesn't get much better.
It doesn't get much better than
You
Alex
know what,
Davis.
guys? We've had a ton of really awesome guests on this show.
Yeah.
Alex in the shop
No,
and on the show.
no doubt.
Now on the show.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time. We might have had him in for a minute or two.
Yeah.
One of the other times when he was up here working.
Yeah.
But spectacular ambassador for the industry.
Big time.
It's no wonder these companies are fighting to get him on their staff.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, George, because when we go to ICAST, I mean, everybody's great.
Yeah.
But we always start at Shimano every year. And the first person you see every year and takes you through the whole lineup is Alex.
Yeah, he's there.
And he is on point from the first day to the end.
It's spectacular. And you know, just out of the blue, I texted him the other night. I was sitting there thinking about, because we have some great upcoming guests. You know, we have in queue, we have Mike McClelland. We have some other great guests that are lined up. And I'm, you know, waiting for them to schedules to line up. And, you know, I'm just like, and I remembered our ICAST appointment that Nick and I had with Shimano on the water. Not even the appointment, but the on the water event. And we asked Alex if he could give us, and it was raining.
Yeah.
It was raining, and we're like, "Can you give us a couple minutes down here on the water? We got to get some footage today. We came all the ways down here a day early, and you know, spent a ton of money. You know, Mike took us out to dinner to Capitol Grill, and
Yeah.
you know, he's treating us so good. We're staying in this big penthouse suite, and you know, before he gets the bill and fires us, could you like give us a couple minutes? And he was just Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
We were there for half an hour.
Johnny on the spot. So
He's a good guy.
Now, I do have a question here. So he brought up a good point. You know, he's talking about the frog fishing. George, did you check to see if them hooks are still on that frog that Mike was using the other day?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Mike had a blow up Sunday.
It
It
was
was kind of like we both simultaneously said, somebody needs to throw the frog.
yeah.
And
pretty
he had a frog sitting there by his tackle and had a frog rod, rigged it up. He had this blow up, and I just happened to be watching the frog.
Yeah.
It was, first of all, it was like this beautiful cast. Like this cast went under these trees.
Great cast.
I mean, it was walking.
It's a great cast.
It hit the mat, and he's like chugging it through the cheese. And I just happened to be watching it because it was so cool. This freaking blow up. It sounded like somebody jumped out of an airplane.
It was awesome.
Cannonballed the river. And it was like this pause.
That's pretty good.
waited.
Reel down. It was like
I felt the weight.
Did you?
I felt the weight.
He took the safety off and fired the first round
I mean, I did everything right.
and stuck this fish.
Did everything right.
And he comes up on the surface and like flops his head twice and comes off.
Yeah, it
And
was-
we're like,
What else can you do?
well, you know, there was
we had
so
already
much,
lost a big smallmouth in the morning.
the frog had this much grass on it when I brought it in. So I mean, it's just like, and that's why that's one of the things I asked Alex was, you know, how many times does that happen? And it you know, obviously it happens a lot. And he always says there's a lot of blowups, you know, that you don't get. I mean, that's just part of it. That's part of your gig, and it's so heartbreaking when you're working
Well,
so
yeah.
hard to catch these fish.
I thought it was so interesting, and I know we got to get moving on to other things, but I thought the biggest takeaway for me, other than that was a fun interview, was a lot of people who fish on the weekend, like us, we don't get to pre-fish like he does.
Yeah.
And how they pre-fish is crazy, because if you listen to what he's saying, he's working that frog so fast just to get blow-ups.
Yeah.
And
Just
then when he actually fishes, he's like
the
at a
opposite.
snail's pace,
Yeah.
picking it apart.
Yeah.
Most of us, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Go try to do it.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
100%.
Yeah. No doubt.
100%.
All right, we're going to move on here, George. We got a lot to cover here yet, and
Yeah.
we're running short on time.
That's okay.
But
I'm gonna condense this.
Yeah, we're going to have a great tackle talk. And this is our great segment of our show, and we look forward to it all the time. And this is Tackle Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Did you guys notice how I segued into this a little bit with Alex?
Yeah,
I got him to break down the X Prides.
That was great
awesome.
too. That was great. Well, George, what's going on? We've been getting a ton of tackle in. We've been kind of like salivating over some things that came through the door here the last couple weeks. What's going on with the tackle right now?
Well, this is the season. It's basically getting a bunch of next year's tackle in some cases, getting resupplied on this year's tackle that's been out of stock for a while, but it's just a cool time of the year in the tackle industry. I mean, from now until, January, the amount of product that gets delivered here and the new stuff,
mm-hmm.
it's insane. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, we got to meter it out. You can't just put all this out on the street at one time. You'll have people nodding off. We talked to Alex about the two new X Prides. So it's going to make 4 solid tip spinning rods now in the X Pride lineup. So there's a 610 medium and a 610 medium heavy from last year. Now, as he said, they needed the trend is to go to these bigger minnows. The trend is to go to like the 5-inch minnows, the 6-inch minnows. You remember, guys, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the 6-inch Z-Man scented jerk minnow.
Right.
Jerk shad. And, that's a big old chunk of beef.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this is a 5-inch winged fluke, which is a Zoom Sakamata shad. Sort of. But then who doesn't have a Sakamata shad? Oh, Depths.
Yeah.
They don't have one.
They don't have any.
They have them, but you can't buy them.
You can't buy
So thank God that Zoom and Nomad. Live Ops and everybody else is jumping on that bandwagon. I mean, it's nothing new. This industry is based upon, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens with these winged baits? So here we have the Zoom winged fluke, 5-inch. Okay. What happens with these winged baits is when you're actually scoping, okay, if you're shaking a minnow on scope, you're working your rod tip down. Okay, and you're pulling that line goes in the water like this, and like this. You're pulling this part of the line, and these wings are hovering this bait. So this bait is staying above the fish where you want it much longer, so you can work it slower. And you're also getting that incredible roll. So you put this on a good ball head, a good minnow head, and this is what you're going to see in the water when you test this alongside your boat. You're going to get this beautiful full body roll. The wings are going to help hover it. And I mean, it's a copy of a Sakamata shad. It has everything but their scent. And this is this color is called Reservoir Shad, which is a really good shad color. Look at that light belly. There's a gold hologram flake in there. a pro blue back. I mean, this thing is money. This is a well thought out color. Okay. Here's a by Wako Wagasaki. Now I can tell you who thought this color out for Zoom. That'd be Deps. Deps designed this color for Zoom, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I'm not casting any disparages here.
I think
I'm making light of what is the industry that we live in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Zoom has been copied more than probably anybody.
Well, they started it, so you're going to get copied the most.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, about 10 years ago, Zoom brought out a bait, and they said, look, we copied this other bait. They've been copying us for so long.
Yeah.
We just thought we'd throw something back at them.
Yeah.
But there's your 5-inch wing fluke. Now, here's what you got. You got a 4-inch. It comes in an 8-count pack. You got a 5-inch. It comes in a 6-count pack. And they're $7.99 a pack, okay? Now, they're pretty durable when you put them on your jig head.
Yeah, good plastic.
Even if you don't use glue, which I would.
Mm-hmm.
And as we said, the wings are effective. They will hover, okay? We've seen this. If you get your bait on your screen, you can see that it doesn't just nosedive down. So that's the Zoom Wing Fluke. I wouldn't call it new.
No.
It's newer.
We
just haven't got around to talk to you about it, but we've been
selling a lot of them.
we've been scoping lately.
Yeah, we've been selling a lot
So we
of
thought, what the heck? Let's talk about that for a minute. So that's the 5-inch, and we also have the 4-inch. So the other thing that's been going on in spinning rod, we're kind of like on a spinning thing here. We got the scoping rods. We got all the finesse. Ned fishing is big. Drop shotting is huge. Obviously, strolling and shaking a minnow. Wacky rigging. Finesse is in. Finesse is hot. And spinning rods are as hot as I've ever seen them in the industry. But so is line, guys. And the line manufacturers are answering. Okay, so we have for you today, and I'm not saying this is new, but it's newer. We just haven't got around to talking about it. We have the Seagar PEX8. And guess what? It's the lure edition. I'm not sure what that means. But look at this. I'm gonna run some numbers past you that are gonna blow your mind. This is 24-pound test. Okay. So we have pink for about 3 feet, roughly. And then we have chartreuse for about 6 inches, roughly. And that repeats. Okay. So here we have 3 feet of pink. And then we have like 6 inches of chartreuse. But this is an 8-carrier braid. And check this out. This is 24-pound.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing about this.
This is 24-pound. You get 219 yards on your spool. So you can fill 2 reels. Okay? So you're going to fill 2 reels out of this spool.
Yep.
This is 24-pound. This is a diameter of 0.008.
Crazy.
And it's 24-pound. So what does that mean? What does 0.008 mean? Well, let's put it into something that you can relate to. This is the same diameter as 15-pound Super Slick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at like the PEX8 and the other like really small diameter braids,
8 carrier braids.
So there's a 12-pound in this that's 0.005, which is the equivalent of 8-pound Super Slick. There is a 16-pound, which is 0.006, which is like a 10-pound Super Slick, but it's 16. Now, we have a great pro staffer. Well, we have a whole pile of great pro staffers. Our shop, we have a pro staff team
Excellent
That
team.
if it was fantasy football,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have like 280 points a week. Many great anglers on our team. Loyal, long-term, hardworking guys that respect every one of you out there. If you see them on the water, say hi. But one of our pro staffers is a guy by the name of Joe Raymond, and Joe is a real techie guy.
Yeah.
He's
super techie.
He builds a lot of his setups around particular techniques. Now, he's a finesse-oriented guy. He's a full-time guide. He fishes every day of the week. He fishes from ice on to ice off, or from ice off to ice on. I said that backwards. But what's cool about Joe is Joe has been all over me about this line. I mean, all over me. He absolutely loves it. Now, he does not really fish the 12 and the 16. His wheelhouse is the 18, the 21, the 24. Now, keep in mind that 24 is like 15-pound super slick. So, Joe's probably 18 to 21 guy. And he's like this. He's just all about it. Now, it's a premium JDM braid. It's $37.99 a spool. Okay. But now keep in mind, you're going to fill 2 reels. Yeah.
And that's the key. That's the key with this. And a lot of people don't think that way. You know what I'm saying?
So you're going to back them?
Yep.
I saw something today on the social medias. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't agree with it. So it was an article I was reading on Bass Blaster. I think it's called Bass Blaster. And he was interviewing the guy that is working with Cast King to make the hammer braid. And he has a big, deep background in braiding from all the ways back to one of the first braid companies. I can't remember the name. But anyways, this guy said he doesn't like a monofilament backing. I'm like, bro.
Why?
I mean, he says he likes braid all the way to the core.
What's wrong with
if you had this spool of braid right here, this is 200 yards of the equivalent of 15, about the equivalent of about 4-pound test mono. You ain't feeling nothing with this.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I respect the man's opinion because he mastered a braid. But my thing is that bottom half of that spool, and in this case, the bottom 2/3 or 3/4 of that spool is never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
If I'm in a saltwater situation where I'm hooking a fish that's going to run 30 yards of line off, I'm not using this.
Yeah.
I'm using 30-pound super slick or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, George. There's like no situation where I see that makes sense.
Well, and I liked what he said. He said, don't tie your braid through the hole that's in the spool. And I couldn't agree more. First of all, those spool holes have sharp edges. They can cut the line. Second of all, depending on how the spool's constructed, there could be a shaft or something in there that you could get, whatever. But as far as like he said, tie a Albright knot around the spool or an arbor knot. We use a improved clinch and then put tape on it. I'll tell you, I wound a lot of spools in the last 38 years. And since the day braid showed up on planet Earth, wound about, I think I've been keeping track. I think I can go from here to the moon and back again like 47 times. I have had so many problems with people coming in with issues with tape on their spool, slipping, issues. So I'm interested in what this gentleman has to say, and I'm going to read it again and perhaps reach out. But in this case right here, you're going to use a lot of backing.
Yeah.
When you fill a reel with this, because this is expensive and you want to do it right, if you want to split that and put 110 yards on or 108 yards on your spool, your reel is going to look like it's 3/4 or more full of mono.
It's going to look like it's full, honestly, like ready to go fishing.
This is thin.
This stuff will, it's, when people bring that stuff up, when you want us to wind it, it's like, it's a challenge.
And you can fill that. You can fill that reel very, very full with this too. So check it out. We have a perfect rating from Super Pro staffer Joe Raymond. We have 12, 16, 18, 21, 24, 33. Plenty of it in stock.
Mm-hmm.
It's $37.99. If you come into the shop to buy it, we'll even wind it for you.
So
you know why?
So why is it so important to be so thin?
So when you are finesse fishing, as I said, so everybody focus up here because Mike just asked a great question, and I think he must have researched it. So your line, unless you're using unless you're using a sinking braid, your line is coming off your rod. Let me diagram this on the camera. Going down to the water, sinking into the water, but then your line is parallel to the bottom for a little while, angling, trending downward, and then it goes down to your lure. So your lure's here, your rod's here, and your line is doing this. And that thinner line on these light-headed finesse jigs, if you have a minnow and a 1/8 ounce or less, that thinner line cuts that water better and gives you a better connect. Plus, let's talk about something else. Casting distance.
Yeah, big time.
If you're fishing up north in that crystal clear northern swing water, if you're fishing, like our river is super low
and super
clear, super pressured, you got to cast a long way. This is adding a significant distance to your cast, but yet it's keeping you in touch with it because it's no stretch.
Right.
Now, is it the only braid? I mean, we're talking about it like it's the greatest braid that was ever made.
No, there's a lot. There's some of them out there.
It's a really good braid.
Yeah.
And it's getting endorsed by a really good fisherman who runs guide trips every day of the week.
Yeah.
For years. So check it out. If you're interested, if you're so inclined, this is a JDM braid that Seagar has brought over to the States. And that's what it's going to look like on your spool. Yeah, good stuff. That is JDM PEX8.
Good stuff.
8 is referencing the 8-strand carrier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, guys, we're getting short on time. And, all this minnow shaking talk.
Let's get something crazy.
I mean, we need something that's like
something powerhouse.
Get in the grass, get in the dirt.
We need some nastiness.
We want to chuck and wind.
We want something nasty.
We want hook sets that our feet leave the front deck of the boat and we pivot 180 degrees.
Yeah.
We like chatterbaits.
Absolutely.
What could possibly be new in chatterbaits, people? Well, if you're in the chatterbait, if you're into it, focus. We're about to shut this show down with a drop the mic moment. We have 4 new colors from Z-Man in the tungsten Evo, which is what you're looking at here. Small head, tungsten, very hard. A lot of noise when the blade hits it. Runs deeper. So the 3/8 works like a half almost.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome painted blades. Awesome hook.
Great keeper.
Awesome dual keeper. This color is called The Deal. Check this out.
I freaking love that.
Everybody sit down, calm down. We're going to put The Deal chatter spike on. The Deal Evo.
That's illegal, George.
Oh, God almighty.
Shouldn't be doing that.
We don't have a lot of time here. We still have to talk about Rig of the Week real quick. Okay, there we go. A little bit of a LazTech tip for you. This is worth the price of admission. It's, you're always like trying to get that LazTech the rest of the way on. Grab it here. Pull the heck out of it. Gets up there and seats down perfect. Just grab it on this back and just rip it. Now you're perfectly straight.
Good God.
You got the Deal Chatter Spike. This is a Clearwater color. You got a Clearwater trailer. Badass.
Nice.
Badass.
What's the other colors that came?
We also have, and this is in the regular Evo and the tungsten, both all these colors. We have bruised green pumpkin.
Green pumpkin, blue top.
Yep.
And
We have, that has a black blade with a little bit of blue flake on it. We have Golden Shiner.
Golden Niner. Golden Niner.
Gold blade. Gold head.
Phenomenal color.
And then the one that I thought was going to be the weakest of the four and might be the strongest of the four is Citrus Shad.
Who doesn't like a blue-black chartreuse? I mean, is there anybody that doesn't like blue-black
First
chartreuse?
chatterbait I saw like it.
Yeah. What's the first spinnerbait you ever threw?
Chartreuse and white.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't throw that chartreuse and blue?
No.
George, what would be your trailer
Wait a second.
color?
The bomber chartreuse and blue, you didn't throw that as your first one?
That's a crankbait. You said spinnerbait.
No. Bomber spinnerbait.
No.
Back in 1978.
No. Wrong.
It was a blue back and chartreuse
Wrong.
single-bladed spinnerbait. It was the greatest spinnerbait ever. He doesn't
Trailer
remember.
for this?
Yep.
9 times out of 10, white.
Nice. I like it.
Not me, baby. Sexy Shad.
Sexy
good one.
Shad's a great option. 9 times out of 10, I'm fishing this in a shad environment, and I'm throwing white. And I love Sexy Shad for that, by the way.
It's a great dirty water color,
Love
too.
it. All right. That's available in the regular Evo. That's available in the Evo Tungsten.
Yep.
We have got a absolute truckload of them.
Yeah.
So talk to me about it. And then I also want to say, because the Morning Dawn jackhammers are coming, I've been assembling every possible Morning Dawn jackhammer trailer that I can find. And we have Pink Magic Kitech swing impacts, which I'm going to fish just on a jig head, but I'm also going to put this on my Morning Dawn jackhammer, which, by the way, guys, I only have 2 because they were the hottest ticket in town, and I didn't feel as comfortable taking them.
You felt bad taking
them
a dozen?
from the inventory.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that bad because I took 2. I've been running a bubblegum super fluke on them, like was done in the classic by I can't remember. I love it. Yeah, Lee Livesey. I love it. I've been catching a lot of fish on that. That's speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Morning Dawn. Zako coming. That's going to be pretty sexy too. But that's discussion for another day. All right, guys. We got a couple minutes left. Really appreciate you all for hanging in there.
Yeah.
I know we're running a little long. It's Thursday night football. Trust me. We want to watch it as much as you do.
Yeah.
But you don't want to miss Rig of the Week.
Rig of the week. Rig of the week. Rig of the week. Rig of the week.
Now, don't even go there, bro.
Rig of the week. Rig of the week. Rig of the week.
All right. So what we got here is a modified, the way I like to rig it, okay? So this is a split shot rig. So a split shot rig is essentially what I like to call a light tackle Carolina rig. And I like to rig it like a Carolina rig. I don't like split shot. I don't like clamping weight on my line. I'm going to take the time. I'm going to tie the knots. Okay. I'm going to run a light bullet weight, anywhere from 1/4 to 3/8. Typically, it's more on the quarter. But the magic it comes down here. I really like a round bend offset because I'm fishing a worm. Okay. Now, back in the day, I fished a Zoom finesse worm on this rig in a color called grasshopper everywhere I went, and absolutely saved the day more than once. I actually won a tournament one time with a partner of mine that was pissed off because he didn't catch anything, but we won. And I'll never forget that day. That man has left this earth, and I love him to death, but I just can't. I'm like, you're bitching at me because you didn't catch anything, and we won. Okay. And we would not have if it wasn't for this rig, because it all happened in the last 30 minutes. And it happens a lot like that. Now, today, what I like about, and the reason I brought this rig up, it's certainly not revolutionary. It's certainly not, a free rig, or it's certainly not something of that nature. But it is interesting because we do dot on the Carolina rig. And this is essentially a light line Carolina rig. A lot of guys will fish this on a spinning rod.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
1/8 ounce, 3/16,
Yeah.
quarter,
But where this has come back into play, and this is the time of the year when this thing shines, late summer, early fall transition. What has brought this back into play is Z-Man for me. Because guess what? We have a floating bait. Now, keep in mind when I say floating, that doesn't mean that this is going to float like this. This is on the bottom. That's not going to mean it's going to float like this. That's going to mean this thing is, when you drag it, it's going to kind of wander up. And when you pause, it's going to kind of wander down because you're adding weight to it with the hook. It's a little deeper in the water, which keeps it from floating like it's on the surface. But this is deadly. This is a bang stick, which is one of the most deadliest plastics that they make. This is a deadly Nico rig bait. This is a deadly split shot rig bait. It's just killer. This thing is just incredible. So what I want you to do is tie up your split shot rig. Your leader length is going to be about, what is that? That's like 9, not quite 18 inches. So you're going to be in that 18-inch range. I like to use a number 7 barrel swivel. Okay. Very versatile barrel swivel. Use it all the time. And then anywhere from an 1/8 to a quarter. An 1/8 and 3/16 is most of the time.
Yeah.
But an 1/8 to a quarter bullet weight, tungsten, obviously. If you're fishing braid to a leader, 10-pound test. And the trick with this bad boy is it's a drag. Cast it out. It'll hit the bottom. Drag. Pick up your slack. Drag. Pick up your slack. Every time you pause there, that bait kind of comes, when you drag it, it kind of rides up a little, and then it kind of wiggles back down. It's not coming way up here. It doesn't work like that. But it comes up a little bit, and then it wiggles back down. It's very, very good to get bites.
Yeah.
You get a tough day.
You get a lot of bites on that.
You need to get some bites.
It's even a good, for early morning grass fishing when you're fishing the grass, it kind of lightweight gets on top of the grass and you're pulling it through the tops of the grass.
That does work well.
It works really well. I've been schooled by that many, many times, and not anymore. Not anymore.
Now, you've been split shotting for years. How about you, Nick?
Well, I got a question for you. You got a lot of listeners on here. First time. This is regular week. And this might be their first time using this. So you got a barrel swivel that's connected to your main line, and then you have a line going from it. What's the proper way to tie on the barrel swivel first? Which end?
That's a great question. So here's the deal. All right, we're going to break this down real quick. this is your sequence. We're going to cut this off because I like to use a Palomar knot. So you got to think about how you're going to tie a Palomar knot with pulling all that stuff through your loop. Step 1, take your swivel and your leader and tie a Palomar knot to your swivel. Okay, quickly, because time is of the essence. Make sure you moisten that and draw it up and trim it. Now, give yourself enough length for your leader. Now you have a swivel and a leader. Now, get the line off your rod. Okay? Take the line off your rod. Put your sinker on. The bead is optional. I generally like to put a red bead on because I'm superstitious that my Carolina rig and my finesse split shot Carolina rig should have a red bead. I might even have one.
Negative, good.
Nope,
Right.
just imagine. Now, here's the beauty of it. So I have my rod. I put my sinker on. Now, look how easy it is to tie a Palomar knot to the other end of the swivel when there is nothing on the leader. That's your sequence.
Last thing is tying your hook on.
Tie your hook on. And
You're good to go.
you're good to go.
Perfect.
And you have a split shot rig. I really like the round bend J hook with the round bend. It's very, very good for setting the hook. Very high hookup ratio. And you're going to be in that like 1.0 to 2.0 range. Remember, this is a finesse.
Yep.
And I'm not telling you to limit yourself on your bait, but I am telling you this. Here's my ranking and Mike's because we've done this together for years. Finesse worm, which includes the bang stick, which is freaking deadly. Don't forget about the French fry, the centipede.
Centipede. Good Lord. Good Lord.
Or if you're old school, the fish doctor. Look at that. There you go. Took a couple minutes and we were talking, and you're good to go. I like to fish on my spinning rod. I like to fish a 15-pound braid main line and a 10-pound fluoro leader. Finesse. Spinning rod, set the hook, take your time. It's amazing. You land almost every fish you hook. It's just, it's not like you're going to lose them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Rig of the week.
There you have it.
What are we missing, fellas?
I don't think we're missing anything, Nick. What do you got? You got anything?
No, I love the rig of the week. Alex Davis was a great interview, and man,
Yeah, that's great. I
When do
mean,
you see next week's rig of the
that's
week?
right.
I mean, Alex Davis was spot on tonight. We usually don't run him that long, but I just love talking with that guy. He's just such a great guy.
Yeah, he's a really good professional angler.
He is. He is the true deal. And if you guys ever get a chance and you hear him come here and see him in person. He's a great guy. Okay, there you have it, guys. We ran a little long, but we loved it. Loved the show.
Yeah, we did.
Loved Tackle Talk. Loved
we
everything
did too.
about it. I hope you guys did too. And we will catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat.